so every.
I know.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Senator Eric Pratt. I represent District 55, which is Scott County, and thank you all for coming today. The governor, House Republicans, and the entire Senate agree that the deadline for paying off our UI trust fund debt and replenishing the fund, that deadline is March 15th, next week. We need to pass this bill before we prevent a tax increase on every employer throughout the state. We just saw today that inflation is running at record levels. Costs will go up in stores across the state and gas stations if we don't pay off this UI debt and refill the fund. The House bill doesn't replenish the fund. It will keep those premium increases in place. And if we don't refill the fund, it's not going to be there in a stable and reliable fashion for Minnesota workers if we happen to see another downturn. The Senate passed this bill with strong bipartisan support, 55-11. 2/3 of Democrats in the Senate voted for this bill. And we passed it 3 weeks ago, and it's time that the House step up and do their job. You know, I'm also a little frustrated that we haven't seen the pressure from the governor that we'd normally see. You know, if this were Senate Republicans, he'd be beating the table every day. And we really want to see the governor start to put the pressure on the Speaker and House Democrats to bring this bill to a vote, because we believe that if it comes to the House floor, it'll pass. Next, I'll let Representative Neu Brindley take it.
Thank you, Senator Pratt. I am Representative Neu Brindley. I represent District 32B, which is most of Chisago County. So 5 days. We have 5 days until House Democrats go over the cliff and raise taxes on every employer in the state of Minnesota, at a time when the government is sitting on $10 billion of Minnesotans' money. It's really disappointing that we're even standing here today. The Senate passed this bill more than 3 weeks ago on a 55-11 vote. That is broad bipartisan support. The bill has received one House hearing. That's it, one House hearing. And it's been sitting doing absolutely nothing for more than a month. Businesses are staring down a massive tax increase, and Democrats in the House are doing absolutely nothing about it. I want to be really clear about how cruel what the Democrats are doing is how cruel that is to employers right now. Government is flush with cash. They have literally taken tens of thousands of dollars from thousands of businesses in every single one of our districts. That is what is happening. That is the bill that is coming due. And then those businesses, assuming Democrats choose to pass this at some point, if they don't get it done by Monday, those businesses will have to wait 6 months. And according to, if you listen to what DEED is saying, it will be far more than 6 months. They're talking about the extraordinary circumstance that this will create. And it's not as simple as clawing back those PPP taxes that folks were paying. This is going to be extraordinarily difficult to claw back if the Democrats don't get this done by Monday. And if you don't think that that's going to impact not just businesses, but every worker in those businesses, especially in this economy, especially when we're seeing high prices on gas, we're seeing out of control inflation, energy costs in some cases more than double what they were last year. If you don't think these taxes on employers are going to impact every Minnesotan, then I mean, we're not living in reality, if that's the case. There is universal support for this bill. The governor supports it, his administration supports it, House Republicans support it, Senate Republicans support it, Senate Democrats support it. It is only House Democrats that are holding this up. And I really want to urge House Democrats to do the right thing here. Put the bill on the floor, let it get a vote, whether that's up or down. Let folks vote on this bill. I suspect if you put the bill on the floor, there are actually a few Democrats who would support it. Perhaps folks who live in St. Cloud or Hermantown or Aurora and a few others might support this bill. There is literally no reason, there is no excuse to raise taxes on businesses when government is sitting on a $10 billion surplus. And with that, I will turn the time over to Representative Haley.
Thank you, Leader Neu Brindley. Good morning, I'm Barb Haley from Red Wing. I represent District 21A. I'd like to thank Senator Pratt and the senators on the Jobs Committee for their work, in addition to the House Republicans on the Jobs Committee, Lead Hamilton, and all the time that we've put into this issue. We started working on this in the fall. We knew that this was coming, and we were prepared when we came here in February, and when we gavelled in to get it done, and to get it done right away. I do want to take a minute to give some credit to the governor and to Commissioner Grove. They understand the seriousness of this issue for all Minnesota businesses. And we have, as Representative Neu Brindley said, we have bipartisan support on this. It is only one caucus, the House Democrats, who aren't coming along. So thank you to Governor Walz, thank you to Commissioner Grove, and all the Republicans who have worked so hard to move this to the place we are today, where it can pass off the floor. You've heard Senator Pratt say it passed the Senate 55-11, and we're at a position today where we should be able to move it off the House floor and get this to the governor's desk so that businesses don't incur this tax increase. I'd also like to point out that this is a worker bill, fundamentally. The bill also restores the fund to solvency so that in the case that workers need UI in the future, if there's a downturn, that those funds are there. It's also a worker bill in that businesses can use their money to hire new workers or to increase wages instead of using the money to pay a tax that they had nothing to do in creating. So urge House Democrats to come with us today, and let's show Minnesotans this unique opportunity to work together and to do the right thing. Thank you, and I'll now turn it over to Doug Loon.
Thank you, Representative Haley, and thank you for all of you for being here and for the chance to be here today. Honestly, I wish we weren't here. I wish that we had this taken care of by now. We fully expected it to be taken care of by now. We've been working on this topic for quite some time, in fact, going back to last year. But I would ask you to not think about today, but think about where we were 2 years ago as a state, as an economy. As citizens of our country, we were facing an emerging pandemic. We were facing beginnings of what's basically referred to as the lockdown or the stay-at-home mandates. We were facing business closures. We were facing changes in consumption. The net result of all that change was significant economic downturn of our state's economy. We saw a large number of individuals. We went from record unemployment levels, super low. We were at full employment prior to the pandemic. And then we went through the pandemic and into it, and we saw north of 11% unemployment. We saw upwards of 800,000 Minnesotans apply for applications for unemployment. This is the security safety net for workers in Minnesota. That system is critical to maintaining a safe and affordable economy, and it did its work. But the businesses that had faced those unemployment realities did them not necessarily in their own interest. They did it in the interest of their employees, and that system supported them. Now that system needs to be paid back. And this is different from every other economic downturn in that this system was caused by a pandemic, caused by government decisions. Now the government needs to step in. At a time where the federal government has sent significant resources to the state to cover this type of situation. And yet Minnesota has available resources to do it, in addition to its record level of government surpluses. So we applaud the governor. We applaud the Senate for its bipartisan vote. This is not a partisan issue. This is a serious issue for the business community. So as president and CEO of the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce, we're very pleased that this is making progress, but we're up against a deadline. The clock is ticking, and it matters. March 15th was the date the system picked. Happens to be the Ides of March. Now, I'm not a Shakespearean actor, and we're not in a Shakespearean play. This is real. This is real dollars and cents. It matters to the workers of Minnesota. It matters to businesses. And we need to have a solution. And we're calling on the legislature to show leadership, to come together, to produce a result. We'd like to get back to immediate insolvency. We have the resources to do it. And there's practical implications of this on businesses. They cannot have a tax increase at this time. Payroll tax increases deplete the resources of businesses to deploy their needs in order to be competitive in a really hyper-competitive marketplace right now, to attract workers, pay those workers, and address their businesses at a time of great uncertainty. So rather than hearing from me, as I'm hearing from our members about the importance of this issue, today we have two individuals with us from the Chamber community that I want to introduce to you. First, we'll have Brady Folkstad. He is the Senior Vice President, Commercial Lending at Lakeville Bank in Burnsville. And we have Eric Gibson, who is the CEO of Indigo Signs out of Chanhassen. They're going to share their experiences with the UI system and how this will impact their business. First up, we'll have Brady.
Thank you. Brady Folkstad with Lakeview Bank. Working at a community bank, we're a small business. We have 21 employees. Throughout the pandemic, we got to meet with business owners, and the pace of meeting with them and talking with them didn't slow down. It actually only increased. Time and time again, as we worked through issues with cash flow and what to do with work from home and technology needs, it really came back to business owners talking about their employees. How can I take care of my employees? My employees' families depend on these jobs. How can I make this work for them? During that time, it was promised to them to do the right thing. Stay closed just a little bit longer to stop the spread, to end the pandemic. It was asked of them to help their employees figure out how UI benefits could most be maximized, and that in return, they wouldn't be penalized for the increased usage of the unemployment benefits. As we move back to normal in Minnesota, and we feel largely on a glide path back to normal, some people wonder why assistance like this might be necessary. Well, the truth is, some businesses did well during the pandemic, but a lot of them have a lot of deep scar tissue. Business owners and businesses spent their savings, tapped lines of credit, utilized everything that they could, including their retirement savings, to keep the business going and keep their employees paid. The debt they took on to keep their independent gym, restaurant, hotel, small retail shop, manufacturers is big. We know also right now that costs are going up. These folks that are still paying off the bills of the last 24 months, these costs are exponentially going up for them. The businesses that need this support aren't some far-off business. They're the business that creates the flower arrangement for the weddings we're having now. They're the business that coordinates the transportation for our students to go to school. They're the businesses that pour your glass of wine for a business happy hour. And they're also the business that motivates you to get back and exercise after working from home for the last 24 months. They're places in your neighborhood, and they want to be here for you today and tomorrow, next week and next month. They really can't sustain another tax increase.
Great, thanks, Brady. I'm Eric Gibson. I'm the CEO of Indigo Signs, and we are a commercial sign company here in the state of Minnesota. Our job is to really help businesses in Minnesota present their brand everywhere from the curb right into the business that they own. So as you can imagine, during the pandemic, our business saw a lot of ups and downs. As the business community goes, so goes my business. I've got 60 employees in the state of Minnesota, and every night at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I wake up worried about those employees and their family. That's the challenge that we're facing right now. One of the things that we need to talk about is cash, and cash helps a business continue to run. It helps to pay for employees to be employed. And in this particular time, we do our budget forecasting in the November-December timeframe, and we set out our cash needs for the entire year. Last year, we heard that we were going to be held harmless in this process, so we took our usual UI benefits, factored that into our budgets, and that's what scheduled us out for the rest of the year. If this comes through and we have to pay additional cash that I didn't have budgeted in the account, something has to go. People may have to go. Trucks may have to go that I need to do the job. It's just a challenge for us as a business anytime you get this much flexibility in what's happening. So from our perspective, it's the unknown. We can solve this, get it forward, so that I can take the unknown off the table and start dealing with things like, how do I get my installers out in 10-degree weather, 60 feet in the air, and still keep them safe and happy, okay? So from our perspective, we think this should get done. It would help us a tremendous amount, but more importantly, it would help the 60 families that I represent from the state of Minnesota. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm John Reynolds, State Director for the National Federation of Independent Business in Minnesota. We represent over 10,000 small businesses in every corner of this state, and over 75% of our members have fewer than 10 employees. First, I want to thank all of the legislators who are here today who support this bill. I want to thank Governor Walz for supporting this relief. I want to thank Representative Gene Pawlowski for authoring this relief in the House. And above all, our members want to see a vote. They overwhelmingly support this relief. I'm wearing my dog and pony show tie today. And some people know I wear this when things start to get ridiculous around here. And that's where we are today. It's ridiculous that we're here for the second year in a row begging Minnesota House leaders to have a vote on relief that small businesses need and that everybody knows that small businesses should get. They struggled for 2 years through the pandemic. They're struggling now. Inflation, energy costs, worker shortages, supply chain issues. I talk to members every day who are struggling. This is real relief. It will help. Please pass it now. Thank you.
Open for questions.
Well, can I ask Doug Blue a question?
Fire away.
Easy peasy, turn around, say, pass Heroes checks, throw $1 billion out into the community, it all gets spent in your businesses, and you've got your unemployment problem solved. Why? I know linkage, people hate linkage unless they're doing it. So why not link them and solve it?
Yeah, I see, there's a deadline out there, and let's see what we can get from it. I would say there's an art of a deal, and the legislature should seek out making progress, but the deadline is on this. The deadline is on the UI trust fund and its solvency. And unless that deadline is met, taxes are going to go up on businesses, and that safety net may not be there. The beauty of what the governor proposed and the Senate passed is that it gets to immediate solvency. And that's what that system needs to make sure that it's there for Minnesotans, and it doesn't increase additional burden on businesses and a tax increase when it's unnecessary, when we have adequate money to cover this. And there's money still waiting of federal dollars that flowed back to Minnesota that have not been deployed and can be deployed for this purpose.
Sorry to get in the weeds for a second here, but mechanically, how are these payments drawn out? Are they automatically taken by the department, or are they paid by businesses? Because if some are suggesting the deadline is in April, are you going to recommend to your employers to hang on to those checks in anticipation of some kind of deal?
They're getting their bills on the 15th, which is next week. Businesses are good at paying their bills, and they're used to paying this quarterly payroll tax. So they pay into the system. The system pays out through the state based upon federal guidance when there's unemployment applications that are approved. So this system is well in place. Businesses are well groomed to pay those bills when they come in. They get mailed on the 15th. Commissioner Grove held that as long as he could. Normally they go out earlier, is what I understand. And he's holding as long as they can to March 15th. That's a date they need to mail it in order to meet their deadline.
But if there's no penalties assessed until the end of April, should businesses wait on March 15th to send that money in?
That would maybe something Deed would want to consider, but us sending a message out, don't pay your bills, that's not a good message. Businesses pay their bills. And when they get a bill that's going to be above what they paid last time, they're going to be surprised. They're not going to be happy. They're going to wonder why the legislature didn't get its job done. And they're up against this deadline. Those bills are going to go out. The commissioner has his hands tied based upon the system. And businesses will follow through, and they're going to see a tax increase at a time when it's unnecessary and untimely.
But nobody would pay a bill until April 30th if they didn't have to pay the bill until April 30th.
That's not how they operate. They'll start paying the bills in their natural cycle, and that starts on April 1.
Actually,
But the bills
Commissioner
go-
Grove told us checks will start coming in on about the 15th, 16th. They'll start making those payments now because it ties in with their fiscal quarters.
The Commissioner Grove and his deputy commissioner also used pretty bold words when it came to this billing process. It starts on March 15th, but he was very clear in that once we hit March 15th, they cannot stop it. They cannot roll it back after Tuesday, after March 15th. And his deputy commissioner was very clear about the extraordinary circumstances that this will create. This is not, as I sort of alluded to earlier, the PPP loans were pretty direct. They got this amount in their PPP loan, they owed this much in taxes. Unemployment is much more complicated and becomes much more difficult to parse out. Commissioner Grove's deputy commissioner, and I apologize for forgetting his name off the top of my head, but he was very clear that this creates an extraordinary circumstance that is very, very difficult to parse out and roll back. So while business owners waited 6 months for refunds for the taxes they paid on PPP loans, I can't even imagine how long they will be waiting on potential refunds, assuming that Democrats ever decide to do the right thing on this. Potential refunds, they will likely be waiting far longer than 6 months. It will be a very difficult and cumbersome process for the department.
So Senator Pratt, what happens now? There was a meeting with leaders this morning. Tuesday is coming up. I mean, are there meetings planned through the weekend? Is it in leaders' hands? Are you involved? I mean, what happens now?
Yeah, I wasn't part of this morning's meeting, so I don't know what the ongoing is.
No deal.
There's no deal that I've been told of. You know, what I can say is, you know, the Senate and the governor are on the same page, that this needs to be a clean bill moving forward, and it's going to be more costly, more difficult, as Representative Neu said, to wind it back, because these aren't necessarily funds that are held at the state. These are funds that are held at the federal government level in the UI Trust Fund. And so it becomes much more difficult to unwind. And Commissioner Grove was very straightforward with the speaker in saying, payments start coming in on about the 15th or 16th. It's not that everybody's waiting until the 30th. So this is an immediate need now.
Do you know how much the debt is?
I had it at 1.34 billion now.
That's about right. I check it almost every day and it didn't update today on the Treasury report. I mean, quite honestly, if you just look at the interest since the Senate passed the bill, the amount of interest we've collected in the last 3 weeks would pay weekly benefits for 1,600 workers. That's the kind of money we're talking about now, and that's before we've even started collecting on the money that Representative Neu Brindley mentioned. That this is now money that can't go to increased wages. This is money that can't go to increased inventory or supplies or anything else. This is money that's going to be passed on to consumers and continue to keep inflation rates for Minnesota families rising. And we want to put a stop to it. We all here, Republicans and Democrats, are hearing the pain from Minnesota families at the grocery store and the gas pump. And we need to make it stop. And House Democrats need to step up and do their part. And the governor needs to step up and push House Democrats harder on this issue.
Senator, is it your understanding that it has to be debt and solvency, that just repaying the debt won't be enough to stop the higher tax?
It has to be debt and solvency. Otherwise, we'll just fall back into debt right away.
And can I add to that? The fund actually has to be solvent. It actually has to have a positive fund balance for those taxes to blink off entirely. So it's not enough to just repay the debt. We actually need a positive fund balance to stop the tax increases.
Let me add that is set by federal guidelines.
Correct.
So they're responding to a federal requirement of the federally ran UI system that the state has a partnership in.
My question is for the lawmakers up there. We're talking about the urgency for businesses because they're going to face increased taxes, but I guess my question is, since House Democrats are linking the two issues with pandemic hazard pay, has the urgency faded for distributing that money to central frontline workers?
I'll address this. I served on the Frontline Worker Committee over the summer, and I would say that the urgency for Democrats faded last summer when they were unwilling to make a deal last summer. It was extraordinarily frustrating to sit on that committee and not be able to come to an agreement, and it's because the Democrats would not budge on what they wanted. They wouldn't budge, and so here we are.
We've got her for the 10:30, one more question.
Do you have an opportunity or plans to try to force a floor vote on this before March 15?
We had a Rules Committee meeting this morning, and the bill, unemployment has not been calendared. It would have to be done today to be able to hear this on the floor by Monday. So we certainly will use tools at our disposal to do what we can to move this forward.
We got a call there. Sorry, guys, we got another room reservation.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.